Now we are getting to the last part of our model on spoken communication. And in this particular model, what we are going to look at is presentation. So let me share my screen with you so that we can have a look at presentations. And let me do that in the slideshow mode. Good. So any presentation really consists of 4 elements, 4 critical components, if you want to take it that way. The first one is the speaker. What is important about the speaker? Well, the speaker must have a certain appearance, or must at least take care of his appearance, and his appearance must tie in with the image and the message that he is trying to project and to share. The speaker must have a passion for the topic that he or she is going to speak about. The speaker must have the confidence required to share with the audience the message that he is about to deliver. Conciseness is very important. The speaker cannot just continue to speak forever. He must be concise and say everything that he wants to say as simply and as effectively as possible. The speaker must be relatable. If people do not relate to the speaker, then they are going to fall asleep. And of course, the speaker must have an awareness of his audience. We're going to look at these elements in a lot more detail just now, but this is the common concepts here. Element 2 is the message. The message must be consistent. You can't give people 2 or 3 messages in one presentation. It must be consistent, and you must stick to whatever it is that you believe in. You can't change your mind on a topic halfway through a presentation. The message must be unburdened. It just means it must be clear to everybody what your message is, and you must not add too much to the message. So therefore, it must be brief. It must be interesting. It must be entertaining, and it must be audience focused. Now, I'm not saying that when you are doing a presentation that you should try to be an entertainer, but you must be entertaining. Okay, remember, you are the expert delivering a message, but you still want your audience to at least enjoy it. Then your visuals, this is element 3. The visuals that you are going to use must be consistent. They must be logical. They must be balanced, economical. Okay, so don't use too much visuals in your presentation. They must be aesthetical, so they must look nice. I think my slides look rather nice, and so I think and they must be enriching, so they must add to the presentation and they must not subtract from it. Your audience, well, the audience, you must strive to keep their attention, okay, their interest and their involvement, because that is the only way that you're going to convince your audience of your standpoint or your proposal. You must give the audience an opportunity for feedback, and the idea is to spur your audience on to action. That is always the main idea. Now let's have a look at the speaker in a lot more detail. Okay, so we just repeating that those concepts that we had on the previous slide: the appearance, passion, confidence, conciseness, reliability, and awareness. Now, 2 things that's important is dress appropriately in terms of the appearance. You cannot go in your underwear if it is a business presentation, and be on time. There is nothing worse than for an audience to have to wait for a speaker, because then they will be negative about the speaker before he has even started. When speaking, pace yourself. Do not just speak like that, because if you just speak like that and say pace yourself and check dictionality, and then you're going to lose the people. Okay, so pace yourself, check diction and clarity. So speak clearly so that your audience can hear what you are saying. Face the audience, please. I mean, a presentation is interpersonal, so you want to face your audience and make eye contact with people here and there, but please do not get fixated on the attractive person that has grabbed your attention in the audience. That'll just be creepy. Stand on the balls of your feet. So stand comfortable. Do not sway around. Do not pace unless it is really part of your prepared presentation. Stand comfortably on the balls of your feet. Relax your diaphragm. We must have a relaxed diaphragm. Relaxed your diaphragm is not really English. Sorry about that. Little mistake there. Keep eye contact, as I've already said. Use cue cards and know your technology. Because if you don't know your technology, you are going to seem as if you are unprepared and people are going to lose interest. And please, guys, don't think that you are so bright that you can memorize your entire presentation. Use cue cards, just things to jog your memory. Now, please don't write out your entire speech and read it. That's the last thing that you want to do. But you want cue cards so that you deal with the topics that you're going to address in a specific order and you don't get confused. So speak, don't read, and keep to the time. Often, if you have a presentation, you will be given a certain amount of time. So keep to that time. And the only way to keep to the time is to practice. And you will see the guy there. He is practicing in front of the mirror. That is the way you should practice as well, because then you will be aware of funny facial movements that you make. You will be aware that you are possibly using fillers like or ah. Apologies if I use some of that. And then just remember that jittery speakers make jittery listeners. Once I was doing a presentation, not really a presentation, just a lesson in class. I was very well prepared. I thought I was doing an excellent job. And then I noticed that nobody was listening. And the reason for that was I had picked up my keys and I had started playing with my keys. Very bad move. People were watching my hands and the keys, and nobody was listening to me. So please don't make the same mistake. So that's all about the speaker. Now, the speaker must do proper planning, okay, before he goes to the meeting and do the presentation. Please, the practicing in front of the mirror is one part of it, but that is only once your presentation is actually ready for delivery that you will practice. Before that, you will have to prepare. Now, how do you prepare? You know the purpose of your message. What are you trying to achieve? Okay. If there's no purpose to the message, then why deliver it in the first place? Select appropriate words and tone. So you write it and then you rewrite it and then you rewrite it again. Analyze the audience level. Find out the age and the makeup of your audience, please, so that you don't make inappropriate jokes because you think everybody is going to laugh at it and then you offend people. Research your topic. Whenever you do a presentation, you must sound like the expert, and so therefore research is extremely important. Have the information at hand, because it might be that somebody will ask you about your presentation afterwards, and then you must be able to say to them, oh, okay, here it is, or these are the websites that I've consulted, or this is what you can do for further reading. Thank you for your interest. Know the environment. Just now you think you are going to speak in a small boardroom, and then you get there and you are addressing an entire hall full of people. So go before the time. That's really the idea with knowing your environment. It's always good if you're going to speak that you make sure that before the time you've been there, and so that you are not caught by surprise. And then create a logical flow. You don't just want to speak a little bit about this and a little bit about that, and in the end, nobody really knows what you were saying. Okay. Then what we said is practice. I already said practice. When you practice, emphasize the important words. Stand up or sit up straight. So watch your posture. You must, even if you're not confident, you must look confident. Okay. Then make and keep eye contact and avoid things like slang, jargon, and abbreviations. We said that before. And get your timing right. Okay. Even if you are going to do one of those mic drop moments, timing is extremely important. You don't want to come to a punchline or something that's very potent and nobody gets it, and now they're waiting for you to say something more. Okay. Then deliver. Okay, and you must know how you are going to deliver. Is this a business presentation? Is it a meeting? Is it a telephone presentation, telephone conversation? Are you giving training or coaching? Because in each of these cases, your delivery will be slightly different. And then master the tools, master the technology, master the visual aids. So in order for me to be able to shoot this little training video, I need to understand the tools that I'm using, which is I need to do a nice presentation in PowerPoint, maybe decide, am I going to record it directly in PowerPoint, which takes very long, or am I going to use something like Zoom or Teams and just record it by doing a screen share? That's possibly a lot easier. And then know how to use your visual aids. You don't want to seem as if you don't know how to use your visual aids and look clumsy during the meeting. Now, what about the message? Remember, we said that the message must be consistent, unburdened, brief, interesting, entertaining, and audience focused. Okay. So this speech must reflect the same theme as your media messages, website, your public newsletter, your reports, etc. So for instance, everywhere you go that's ICB related, if it's their website, you will see that little ICB logo that I've got there in the right hand top. If you go anywhere on our website or LinkedIn pages or anything, you will see the growth group logo that I've got on these slides. So don't now suddenly change your logo just before you do your presentation. People will not trust you. They will say, what is something wrong there? Is this person even representing the organization that he is speaking to or speaking about? Okay. Then incorporate your audience needs and values. You need to resonate with them. Okay. So don't go and give a message about the wonderful rugby the All Blacks are playing when you are addressing a South African audience. Okay, know what resonates with them. Entertainment is a message maintenance factor. What I'm saying to you, if your people are not going to be entertained, then you are going to lose their attention. So it's a message maintenance factor. It should never be about the entertainment, but you entertain in order to enhance your message. I was once at a wedding. The MC at the wedding was a fantastic speaker. The problem is that he knew he was a fantastic speaker. He didn't tell anybody where the toilets were. He didn't tell anybody where the cash bar was, or even if it was a cash bar or whether the wedding party had paid for it. It was really confusing, but his jokes were really good. Okay. The problem is that everybody focused on the MC and not on the couple. Now, please, that's the worst thing that an MC at a wedding can do. Okay, the focus should always be on the people. That is your host, your bride and your groom. And of course, it is the same when you deliver a presentation. The focus should be on your message. Years afterwards, people must still remember your message, even if they don't remember you. They must be able to say, man, I remember that day I went to this presentation and the guy, I've forgotten what his name was, but this is what he said. So your message must outlast you as the speaker. Therefore, please avoid using too many words, avoid jargon, and evoke concrete images. Okay, so you want your audience to remember by thinking back, and therefore you have to evoke concrete images. Make aware and move to action. If you want, for instance, you are speaking about a charity that's dear to your heart, and in the end you want people to pay money, then you must move them to action. The only way the speaker is going to move somebody to action is if he clearly says in his message what the action is that he desires. I want 20 Rand from all of you. if you can afford 100 Rand, better. Don't say to the people, oh, you can give if you want to, if you are looking for money, for instance. Okay. Or if you are trying to sell or to punt your proposal to a board of directors, then encourage them to take action and prompt them. Say, we need to do this now. We cannot wait for the next quarter or something like that. Aim for no more than 30 words in each key message. People must remember the message, and if it gets too long, then they're going to forget it. So really one sentence. Use short words and sentences, and use everyday words. Okay. Use contractions. So when you write something out, you might write it out by saying do not, but a contraction in a speech, you will say don't be fooled by whatever this person is saying. If you're a politician, don't be fooled by what the leader of the opposition is saying. Okay. Just got a bit of a punch if you use contractions. So use those in your message. Then the visuals. I already said must be consistent, logical, balanced, economical, aesthetical, just means pretty, and enriching. Okay. Here's the basic principles. Short bullet points, 5 to 7. You will see that on my slides here that the moment it gets more than about 6 or 7, I would rather break it up into another little block. So in this, under basic principles here, I only have 4 bullet points. Simple diagrams. Guys, my diagrams that I use are extremely simple. They are really little blocks that is on a white background. I am not a graphic designer. I cannot spend hours creating diagrams and creating visuals, but it can still look professional if I do it well. Rich pictures. Okay, so please, once again, the pictures must look good, but they must not take over your presentation, and do not squash the points. White space is your friend. If you look at my presentation here, you will see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little blocks on the back on a white background here, and there's lots of space in between, because if you squash the points, then people do not know where to look, and they get confused. You must be able to follow me by looking at the presentation as I speak. Then attend to detail. Okay, if you're going to use visuals, your spelling must be correct, your grammar must be correct, your punctuation must be correct, your capitalization must be correct, and the sentence case in the body must be correct. You have noticed that most of my slides are correct, but once in a while, as I am doing this presentation, I actually realize that there's a spelling error or just a formatting error, and then I have to go and fix it before the next time. And the next time I find something else that was wrong. So that is why in a presentation like this, it's always something that has a kind of a life of its own. Please avoid fancy fonts. If you look at my fonts here, I think this is Calibri. You get Arial, you get Times New Roman. Those are the common fonts. The moment you start working in fancy fonts, you are annoying at least some of the people. Okay, funky colors. Okay, funky colors. Don't have 1,000 colors on your visuals. Okay, so avoid funky colors. Okay, in this case, I have stuck to the dark blue because the dark blue is our corporate colors. So even when I choose a little picture like there with logical, consistent, and balanced, I've looked for something that's got our corporate blue in there, or is at least close to us. And I have found that the gray and the dark blue can often be used interchangeably. Okay. And do not have mad movement. Initially, when I did this presentation, I had a lot of animation in it, but really for the purposes of a lecture, I want you to see how I've summarized 4 or 5 pages on a single slide. And there is no need to animate. So animate only when you need special focus. The bouncing in and bouncing out is only impressive on the first slide, and after that, it actually becomes very annoying. And then, of course, aspect 4 of presentation, your audience. And once again, start by giving you the basic points. It's attention, interest, involvement. You must convince them, you must give them opportunity to give feedback, and you must get them to take action. Okay. Please remember, you are the expert. So be the expert, stick to the point, know the facts, be honest. Okay. Don't try and speak about something that you don't know. There will always be people in your audience that knows at least as much about a topic than you do. So if you are dishonest, they are going to catch you out very quickly. Then be friendly but firm. Friendly, don't speak in a way that's going to alienate your audience, but please be firm. Okay. Get to the point. And remember, you are not their buddy. Okay. Even though you want to relate with them, you are not their buddy. Long story, skill, interest. Short, pointed stories are good. It's anecdotal little things about your own life. It is good because then that will help them to relate. But if you're going to tell them a long story, they are going to say, what is this presentation about again? This guy is talking about the time when he grew up and his mother served him shepherd pie. And then they forget your message. Okay. It's still interpersonal. So show respect to your audience. Please not offend people in your audience. Keep a positive tone. You don't want the people negative. So keep a positive tone. Put the people at ease. They must be comfortable. Okay. Some speakers, wow, you listen and you almost feel uncomfortable from the outset. So put the people at ease. Master the power of the gesture. Okay. I once participated in a debate competition. I'm still at school, no, just after. My opponent was an attractive lady, and she wore glasses. And at some point in her speech, she stopped. She took off her glasses, looked at the audience, and put it back, just to create emphasis and to pause. And the moment she did that, I knew I'd lost the debate. Honestly, it was the gesture made me lose. I almost wish I had glasses of my own, because it just gave this idea that she was thoughtful, that she knew what she was talking about, that for a moment she actually needed to take off her glasses to pause. It was brilliant. So master the power of the gesture. Use the power of body language. Okay. Punch the air quickly, and if you need to. Don't keep on punching the air. Then it's losing emphasis. Okay. Now then you're just moving your arms around for no particular reason. Okay. If you're going to point once, and don't point at somebody in specific. Okay. Just point behind the people's head in general, and keep the personal spaces. Many presenters like to walk around between their audience. That is fine. But don't infringe on the personal space of the audience members. You don't want the people to be uncomfortable. Okay. So just to recap quickly before I move on. Remember, it's about you, the speaker. It's about the message. It's about the visual, and it's about the audience. And if you get all 4 those aspects right, every time you do a speech, I can guarantee you, you will be good. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed that, and I hope that it benefited you. Bye-bye.